Classification of commercial organization. Okay. Here first we have to understand and learn, okay, and find out first. This way is also coming. So we have to understand and learn that what is a commercial organization, and we have to classify it on the basis of ownership. This is also a very, very easy topic. In fact, it's very small. There's not much in it. Chapter 3, good morning, Ved. So chapter 3 and chapter 4 are very easy topics for you. Okay. Then we will be doing chapter 5, sole proprietorship, which is also very easy. And then I'll move on to communication. Right? That's how I planned the lessons for you. Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes, tell me, Rana.
Total how many chapters we have in commercial studies?
24. 24 is in the entire book for the whole year. Okay. Of which some are very small, some are big.
Okay.
Right. So let's start with the definition and classification of commercial organizations. Okay. Organizations, we know that undertake commercial activities. What are commercial activities? We've already done in the first chapter itself. What are commercial activities?
Some commercial activities are the activities which have the main objective to earn money and acquire wealth.
So any activity undertaken to earn money, to earn profit, okay, is a commercial activity. So an organization that undertakes these commercial activities, where its motive is to earn money, becomes a commercial organization. Okay. These can be owned either by one individual, they can be owned by one or more individuals. Okay. And most importantly, they can be classified further into private sector organizations, public sector organizations, and joint sector enterprises. Now, each of the three I'm going to put a light on today, that what are private sectors, what are public sectors, and what are joint sectors. Remember, for your commerce class, distinction between any topic, that is whether it's distinction between industry, trade, and commerce, the distinction between profit organization and non-profit organization, the difference questions are very, very important. Along with it, also put an importance to the features. Whenever I'm doing features, please do them very well.
Ma'am, what's the name of the chapter?
The name of the chapter is Classification of Commercial Organization. We are going to classify the commercial organizations into public sector enterprises, private sector enterprises, and joint sector enterprises.
Okay,
there exists a wide variety of commercial organizations. You may have an industrial organization, you may have transportation, warehousing, banking, insurance, advertising. Today, the industries, we have many industries that are set up where employment opportunities are being provided to most people in different spheres, in different fields. These organizations may be on a very small scale. They may be microorganisms. They may be microorganizations. They may be small scale organizations. They may be medium. They may be large. So different types of organizations are there, which are categorized into public, private, and joint. Now let's go to the next one, that is the private sector enterprise. Please follow this part very carefully. This is again the important part of the lesson. Those undertakings, please look at the definition. The first line is the definition of a private sector enterprise. If you want, you can note it down. The undertakings which are owned, controlled, and financed by private businessmen. There is no government participation in them, and the main motive is to earn profit, are private sector enterprises. So any enterprise that is owned, controlled, and financed, the whole thing, the ownership, the control, and the finance lies in the hands of the private businessmen, and the main motive is to earn profit. There is no government participation in it. Such enterprises are called private sector enterprises. I hope the definition is being clear to all. What is a private sector enterprise?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now let's go to the important features. This question comes as a long question of 5 marks. Okay. That please write down or explain the features of a private sector undertaking. The main features of a private sector undertaking are: number 1, private ownership and control. Obviously, because it is a private sector undertaking, it is fully owned and controlled by private entrepreneurs. Who are entrepreneurs? Who's an entrepreneur?
Ma'am, the
Ma'am,
people who
start a business, the new business.
Okay, the people who take the managerial decisions, who own a business, who take all the important decisions in the business. He becomes the entrepreneur of the business. In case the business is a sole proprietorship business, sole proprietor. Proprietor means one individual. Okay, so whenever one person runs a business, okay, he has his own shop, his own business, that is called a sole proprietorship business. In such a business, obviously there is no government participation in it. It can be also a Hindu family business. Okay, a business under the a business under the Hindu Succession Act, which is being followed in many years and in many generations. First, you have the great grandfathers, the grandfathers, the fathers. They're all running a business together. It can be a partnership business where you have 2, 3, 4, 5 partners together. Kaustav, you're not listening. Okay, where you have 2, 3, 4 partners together. It can be a joint stock company where we have shareholders. It may be a cooperative society where voluntarily people start a business together for mutual help or self-help. So all these kinds of organizations, they do not come under government participation. Government is not having control over them. Hence, they come under private sector undertakings. Another important objective or feature, you can say, of private undertakings is profit motive. The main objective here is to earn profits. Okay, profits provide the reward for the risk assumed and also for the return on capital. Capital is what? The money which I'm investing in the business. When I'm investing money in the business, I am assuming a lot of risk. If I'm assuming risk, obviously the main objective to undertake risk, to invest money, is to earn profits. So a private sector undertaking will always have the objective of earning profits. No state participation. Very, very important. There is no participation either by the central government or by the state government in the ownership control of a private sector undertaking. So the government is not participating only in what? In the ownership of such.
Ownership.
Correct. Private finance. The capital obviously will be, if there is no government participation, will the government provide any finance to such an undertaking?
No, ma'am.
No. The capital is provided by who? The capital
Shares.
is provided by the owners, by the people who are the members of the company. Generally, yes, by the shareholders. In case it is a sole proprietorship, the sole trader or the individual who is running the business, he would provide the capital. If it is a partnership business, it is the partners who would invest the capital. And if it is a joint stock company, then the company would raise the capital by issuing shares and debentures. With the help of shares, with the help of debentures, they will be issued. People are going to buy them and you can invest in the company. A private sector undertaking can also raise loans to meet its short-term and long-term needs. Suppose if it's not able to raise the capital at one go, so it can also do it by raising loans. Okay. Okay. Next comes, after private finances, independent management. A private sector undertaking is managed by its owners. In case of sole proprietorship and partnership, The owners directly manage the firm. Independent management. That means the management is not dependent on anyone else. I am the sole owner. I am the sole trader. If I am the sole trader, that means I am going to run the management of my business. Similarly, if there are 4 partners, say Ronak, Melvin, Kaustav and Ved, they are the 4 partners in my firm. So they are the 4 partners who are going to manage the decisions of the firm. The management of a joint stock company, on the other hand, lies in the hands of the directors. The directors are who? Who are the elected representatives of the shareholders. Please understand, in a joint stock company, it's not like the sole trader is the owner of the firm. So who becomes the owner of the firm? In case of a joint stock company, please understand, we have shareholders. The shareholders invest in the shares of the company, and from them only the directors are elected, and these board of directors take the managerial decisions of the company. So these are the important 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 features of a private sector enterprise. Okay, so let's one by one quickly discuss it before I go to public sector undertaking. Kaustav, you're going to start. First feature. What is a okay? First, tell me the definition of a private sector undertaking.
Ma'am, the definition of private sector enterprises is that these undertakings are owned, controlled, and financed by a private businessman.
Okay. Is there government participation in them?
No, ma'am, no.
Okay. Melvin, can you give me the first important feature of it?
Ma'am, the first important feature is private ownership and control.
Yes. So what happens? How is the private ownership?
Ma'am, in this feature, the private, the businessman who is this private enterprise is owned, he takes the control and he takes the ownership and the control in this feature, and
He is the one who is responsible for all the decisions of the firm. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, Rana.
ma'am, I not understood the first one and third one.
First and third. Okay. I'll come to the first and third. Private ownership. Say today, Rana, you are running a business. Tell me which kind of business you would like to run. Say if you would have your own business. Suppose you would have your own business, then which business you would run? Say suppose you have a stationery shop. Let's take it's okay. It's your own shop. Okay. So who's going to take all the decisions of that firm? Who's going to own it? Who's going to put money in it? Who's going to have control over it? Rana, isn't it? Will Melvin come and take ownership of it? No, because it's your firm, right? So ownership means that when the same person whose organization it is, he is taking the control of it, he's taking the charge of it, he's taking all the decisions relating to it. That means private ownership and control. Point 3 you said, right? No state participation. No state participation means what? Certain organizations and companies are there where who's investing in it? The government is investing. Wait, please put your, one of you is making sound. Please put it on mute. Right. So whenever there is no participation by the central government, by the state government, that means government is not investing money in it. Government is not controlling the firm. Then it becomes a private sector undertaking. Clear? Okay. Beth, can you tell me the next feature? What is profit motive? Beth, can you tell me the next feature?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the main objective of a business is to earn profit.
Okay, right. What about private finance? Who's going to tell me that one? Kaustav, can you tell me private finance? I cannot hear you.
Private finance means that the capital of a private sector undertaking is arranged by its owners.
Okay, right. That means who's putting all the money? What about in partnership? Who's going to put the money in partnership business?
Ma'am, all the shareholders invest.
Shareholders invest in joint stock company. In partnership business, it is the partners who are going to invest in the firm.
Oh, okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
And what happens in sole proprietorship? The only single owner or the sole proprietor, he will invest the money.
Yes.
Then comes independent management. Independent management, as I said, the management is not dependent on government, on public. The management is in the hands of the owners themselves. They are only going to manage and control the business. Can we go to the next pointer then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great. Public sector undertakings. Okay, this is the second important type of undertaking which we are going to classify under commercial organizations. Okay. These undertakings are owned and operated by the central and the state government. Till now, the first undertaking I was talking about. Well, okay, let's take Bharti Enterprises or Bharti Airtel Enterprises. Airtel is private sector or public sector?
Public.
No.
Private.
Airtel comes under private sector organization. Okay. What about Indrapas Gas Limited? Where will that come under?
Government.
Government. So that becomes a public sector undertaking. So any undertaking owned and operated by the central government and the state government, they become public sector enterprises. What are the important features of it? Let's understand. Number one is state ownership. Public undertakings are fully owned by the government or any public authority. That means no private entrepreneurs are there. Okay. Sorry. Right. So they are fully owned by the government. For example, the RBI. You know that the Reserve Bank of India, it is owned by the central government, right? We have only one Reserve Bank in the whole country. And who's owning that Reserve Bank? The Reserve Bank is being owned by the central government. Same way, you also have the Delhi Transport Corporation. That is also owned by the government of the Delhi state. So whenever the government has full control over a particular business, okay, or obviously some public authority, like sometimes certain companies, they are open to public where people can invest in them, right? They come under public sector enterprises. The ultimate control of any public sector enterprise always lies with the government. Very, very important. That who's taking the control of it? The government is taking control. There the control and ownership was with the private entrepreneurs. Here the ownership and control is with the government. In private sector undertaking, the motive was profit. That they are investing their capital, the risk is high, so they want money, they want profit. But here the motive is service. The primary objective of a public sector undertaking is to render service to the people at large. In order to serve the public, it may even incur loss. Sometimes, let's say, for example, the government has taken up a project of say, of infrastructure, of building roads. It may incur some loss, or maybe it is making a dispensary or a public limited hospital. In that case, many times it may not always incur profits, because here the motive of the government is service. The motive here of the government is not to earn profits. Okay. In fact, you also have the Food Corporation of India, FCI, which provides food grains to people at very, very subsidized rates. Okay. Then we come to state financing. Another very important feature of public sector enterprise. After state ownership, government control, service motive is state financing. As I told you, who was providing the finances there? The private sector undertaking was providing the finances. But here, the state financing lies with the government. The government provides capital, it provides funds. How does it provide? Through appropriations from its budget. Every government has a proper budget. Okay. We know that we have a budget in our country, right? There is a budget in every country. So according to the budget, you have to plan out that how much money is going to be spent on these public sector enterprises, on these industries. And government is also providing loans from time to time from its state exchequer. Okay. Then comes bureaucracy. Very, very important. What is bureaucratic management? Anyone has an idea of bureaucracy? Please try. Kaustav, what is bureaucracy?
Ma'am, I don't know.
You don't know. Wait, any idea? Okay. Bureaucratic management or bureaucracy is too much of paperwork, too many legal formalities. Like for in case of a private sector undertaking, it's very easy to form a private sector undertaking. You do not have so many steps of incorporation. You do not have to go through so many government authorities, so much of legal formalities. Just one or two steps and the undertaking will be ready, right? In case of a private undertaking. But in case of bureaucratic management, there is too many authorities you have to go through. Too much of paperwork is involved. Registration is compulsory. So that is why these kind of managements, that is public sector enterprises, they are bureaucratic in nature. In the sense their whole organization, whole operations are governed by rules, regulations. For example, let's say a passport office. Today, if you want to get your passport done, too many legal formalities need to be done, isn't it? You go through the passport office, you file in your papers, then they come for checking. So like that, many rules and regulations need to be followed. Same way, in case of a public sector undertaking, when you're talking about bureaucratic management, it goes through too many paperwork, too much of legal formalities, too many authorities. So it's more time taking in nature for its formation than a private sector undertaking. Then comes public accountability. Now, if you are forming an enterprise for the benefit of the public to serve the society, then people will also be involved in it. So public sector undertakings are accountable to the public at large for their performance, for their result, that they are doing their job properly or not. An annual audit of these undertakings have to be conducted. And here who does it? It's the Comptroller and the Auditor General of India, who takes the charge of public accountability. The annual reports need to be properly subjected, especially in the parliament and in the state legislature, to find out whether the workings are being conducted in a proper manner and no one is trying to take advantage. See, it's a government body. People may be corrupt officials, there may be, who may be trying to take advantage, trying to be, misappropriating the budget, not conducting the activities in the correct manner. So in such cases, it is the accountability of the Auditor General that he's going to check all the reports, he's going to check all the accounts of the firm, so that the responsibility is also to the public at large. I hope the features are clear here. I cannot hear you all. Are the features?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Ved, what are public sector enterprises? Can you tell?
Ma'am, these are certain enterprises owned by the central or state government.
So those undertakings which are owned and operated by the central government
Central
are
and
public sector enterprises. Okay.
Yes.
Let's start then. Melvin, give me the first feature of the public sector undertaking.
Ma'am, the first feature of the public sector enterprises is the government control, in which all the enterprises of the government are taken by the government. They control all the enterprises of the government.
Okay, the ultimate control lies in the hands of the government. Costa, one more feature, come on.
Ma'am, the next feature of public sector enterprises is state financing. The government enterprise is financed by the government through appropriations from the budget.
Okay. What about service motive? Who's going to tell me that? Where's Ronna?
Ma'am, government control the ultimate control of a public, one bank only in a country can is of government.
Okay. What about Neha? Are you there? Is she has she joined the class today?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay. Fine. What about service motive? Can one of you explain service motive for me?
ma'am. Can I?
Okay.
And the primary objective of the service motive is to provide service to the public.
Primary objective
in
of
large
a
scales,
public sector enterprise is to provide service.
right? Service at large scale.
Okay, right. Even if it incurs a
As loss.
Okay, great. Kaustav, can you explain public accountability?
Ma'am, public accountability means that public sector undertakings are accountable to the public at large for their performance and results.
And who's going to check this public accountability? Who's going to be hired?
Ma'am, the controller and the auditor general of the India.
Correct. Great. So can we go to the third type of ownership now? So first one we learned
Yes,
was private sector, then we
Private
learned public sector.
Public sector.
Now we are going to go to the next.
joint management.
Joint public sector.
The joint sector enterprises. This is the third important type of commercial undertaking. Joint sector. What does the term joint tell you? What is the meaning of the term joint?
Joint management. Ma'am, combined or mixed?
Combined
together?
or mixed together. Very good.
Ma'am, joint sector means where the government and the private sector enterprises are involved.
Correct. So whenever the ownership, control and management is shared jointly by the government, the private entrepreneurs and the public at large, okay, then it becomes a joint sector enterprise. Like the Indian Oil Corporation, the Cochin Refineries, Gujarat State Fertilizers. These are all examples of joint sector enterprise. Here the main feature is mixed ownership. Private ownership was private enterprise. Public ownership was public enterprise. So now we have a mixed ownership. The government, the private entrepreneur and the investing public. Means even people can jointly invest shares in these kind of companies or in these kind of sectors. Combined management. The management and control of these enterprises lies with the nominees or the representatives of the government, the private businessmen and the public. So you can have someone who's representing a member from the government. You may have a representative from the private individuals and also the public. From the people. People can also invest shares. Sometimes many private enterprises, okay, what happens to them? They are not running well. These private enterprises, why are they not running well? What happens to them? Any idea?
Have they incur a loss?
They are incurring a loss or they are not doing well. They are, they're not contributing towards the industry. So at times what they do is they invite maybe the
product is old.
It's not about only the product being old. Sometimes the industries are not doing well for lots of reasons, because of which government has to intervene or government also wants to participate in them to help them out to incur the losses. In such undertakings can also become joint sector undertakings. What are the main features? We've already done mixed ownership and combined management. Please look at the share capital. Very important there. The shares of the government, the private businessmen, and the public in the capital at 26%, 25%, and 49% respectively. The aim is to pool the financial resources and the technical know-how of the state and private individuals. So here the private individuals, the government and the public are coming together to help the enterprise run in an effective manner. And of course, we are taking here, this kind of an ownership actually is a very advantageous ownership, because you can take the technical know-how of the private businessman, government's involvement is also there, and it's also accountable to the people at large. Clear? Any difficulty?
No, ma'am.
All three clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay. So summary, here we are. This chapter only has 3 important parts. What is a commercial organization, which we've already done? It is divided into 3 parts: private sector, public sector, and joint sector. Yes, wait, tell me, you have a question?
Ma'am, what does share capital mean? Ma'am, I didn't understand.
Share capital. Okay. Say you have let's take any company. Okay. We have different kinds of business organizations. As I told you, you have sole proprietorship. We will be doing all of them one by one. Sole proprietor is one-man show. One man is taking the control of the business. Then you have partnership business, where you have many partners being involved in this. Okay. After that, another important one which we are talking about is joint stock company. Whenever we have a company form of organization, a company form of organization has something called the share capital. How many of you have seen the movie Guru? Have you seen it? Okay. What was very important there in that movie? It was on the life of Mr. Ambani, if you remember.
Ambani. Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now, if you have seen that movie, you must have seen that how that person, the main character or the main hero in the movie, he is trying to ask people to invest shares in his company. Right? So joint stock means what? When people are buying shares of a company, small units of the company, they are investing capital in the company. So like that, if I have 100 and 200 people who are all investing money in a company, they become the shareholders of the company. Say I have invested, I have bought 50 shares of a company. Each is value is 10 rupees. So how much have I invested?
50 rupees.
50 rupees.
No. I bought 50 shares of the company.
Oh, okay.
Each share's value
500 rupees.
500.
500 rupees.
That is my investment in the company. So like that, I am one shareholder. It may have many shareholders in the company. That is nothing but a joint stock company. We will be learning about it as we proceed with the different types of organizations. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to put some questions to you. You're going to answer them. Okay.
Then we have total 4 worksheets.
Today's one I will post. Today the chapter, whatever we've done of this lesson, along with the worksheet, I will post on the group today. Okay.
Ma'am, this chapter is also over.
This chapter is over. It's a very small chapter. It's actually only a 2-page chapter. Okay. So as I said, we have 24 chapters, but don't get worried because some of the chapters are very small. Like you saw only in a 20-minute class, this chapter is got over. It's that smaller chapter. Okay.
So ma'am, this Monday we have to submit all 4 worksheets.
Yes, I will be giving you time till Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and start also. Please maintain your notebook and start doing the back questions. Do not leave them out. Because remember, yes,
Ma'am, should we send photos to you on WhatsApp?
that will be difficult. So many, if I have to check on WhatsApp group, already the WhatsApp messages are loaded. It's better you scan your worksheets. No. Scan your worksheets and mail me. I will be posting my mail ID. That will be easier for me.
Okay, ma'am, I'll try.
Individually, I will be able to keep a track who has given me and who has not.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So please answer some questions of the topic I'm asking you.
Yes,
classify the following into private sector, public sector, and joint sector. Okay. First one, Tata Motors.
Private sector.
Private sector.
Tata
Joint sector. Joint sector.
No,
Ma'am.
Tata
Joint
Motors
sector.
is a public sector organization
Ma'am, is it?
of the Tata company. Okay. State Bank of India.
Private. No, ma'am. Public
Public
sector.
Public sector.
Okay. Cochin Refineries.
Public sector.
Public sector.
Private?
Joint.
Joint. If it's not private and public, it has to be joint.
Joint.
Okay. Then Indian Oil Corporation.
Joint.
Gujarat State Fertilizers.
Public sector.
Joint.
Okay. Right. Correct. Okay. Bharti Airtel.
Private sector.
Private,
ma'am. Private.
Okay. Fine. And what else is there? Air India.
Private.
Joint.
Joint, ma'am.
Air
Joint
India is
sector.
public sector. Public sector.
Public.
Okay. So I